こんばんは。あ、こんばんはじゃないか。間違えました。
Good evening, or no, it isn't the night yet.
こんにちは。
How do you do? My name is YOSHIKI.
なんて言ってるんだろう。
How should
今日
I
はこの
say
ような
it?
イベントに招待させていただいて、招待していただいて、非常
I'm
に嬉しく思っています。
truly
Thank you so much for
grateful
inviting
for the
me.
fact that I was invited.
I have to thank to my dear friend Mikitani-san. Okay, so すいません。アメリカ長いもんで日本語の方。
It's become easier for me to speak English than Japanese since I've been living in America for so long. And since there's a piano here, before beginning our dialogue with Mr. Roos, I would like to play something here. On the anniversary of the 50th year of the reign of His Majesty the Emperor, there is a tune which was created, and I will change the arrangement slightly since this was originally meant for a quartet, but
ドラムとか叩くとき上半身裸なのはあれ別に体見せたいわけ。
Now, whenever I take off my shirt, when I'm using the drums, it's not that I wanted to show off my body, but just that it's easier to drum and allow me to tune the piano.
Okay, so I'm gonna play a song called Anniversary. カルテットの皆さんありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. I would like to thank the quartet.
そうですね。何しゃべろう。
What should I talk about now?
So today, I have another special guest. He's also a very dear friend of mine. He's all the way from America. Actually, he used to live here in Tokyo. In Japan. So another special guest, Ambassador Roos. Thank you so much for coming.
YOSHIKI, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this incredibly special performance.
Thank you.
Should we sit down?
Yeah, please. It's not the first time, right? You actually came to the the Japan show in.
I did. Listen, I had the honor of being the ambassador here for 4 of the most wonderful years of my life. And during that time, I went out to Yokohama and along with 70,000 of your fans had the first experience of seeing X Japan.
I remember you are doing X jump.
I did the X jump. I know the fan club's over here, so let's see you guys all do it. The X jump.
Okay. So yeah, very soon we could jump. So it was amazing. So
And then when I left the ambassadorship, I went to San Francisco and had the honor of seeing you do a classical performance, including the beautifully touching anniversary song you just did today.
That's right. Thank you so much for coming to. Yeah, actually, last year I toured as a classical pianist. I went to over 10 countries. So then I had a show in San Francisco. That was Davis Hall. Then you came with Mark too. Mark
I
Benioff.
did. Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce, who's a wonderful, wonderful entrepreneur, a wonderful philanthropist,
Yes.
and a friend of both of ours.
Very good friend of ours.
YOSHIKI, let me ask you a few questions. We're here at the New Economy Summit with a lot of entrepreneurs talking about technological trends, and technology, as we've heard during this conference, has changed almost every industry. It's changed healthcare, it's changed transportation, it's changed education, it's changed agriculture, financial services, but it's also changed the music industry. And I'd be very interested in getting your thoughts on how you see technology impacting your industry.
Okay, so as you know, the music industry is not really happening right this moment. Okay, so because I come from the classical music background, so I need to go back to 200 years ago. So 200 years ago, there's no really CD or anything. So anyway, past 50, 60 years ago, we started doing the vinyl to CD, then downloading. Now everybody's streaming. So there are several streaming companies, corporations such as Spotify or Google Play or Beat Music. So yeah, then for sure for the future, streaming is going to be the standard. But at the same time, the music industry has not been really compensating what we've been losing from the physical distribution. So streaming itself is not really contributing the enough income for the industry. So we get to the point from the beginning. That's interesting. But so that's my idea. Could be the ISP, internet, service provider, might have to collect a little more money than what they have been collecting. They need to allocate some income to the contents holder. Contents holder doesn't mean not only music industry people, can be a film industry or anybody. So anybody who spends time in the internet, so that's it's not like a taxing or anything. Can be like investment for the future, because music couldn't be survived without a lot of contribution from the people. So we are not just creating the only business. We're not selling the, of course it's the business, but we are creating the culture, we're creating arts. So we may need to come up with something like that. So
let me ask you this. You're not only a musician, a composer, a producer, but you're also an entrepreneur. How are you if at all, modifying your strategy, your personal strategy, in light of the comments you just made?
I see. Yeah, again, the most important thing for me has always been music. But I needed to create my brand. So this kind of, time, somehow I've been surviving, actually thriving, is kind of like, branded like, some YOSHIKI character, like, including YOSHIKI, that means Hello Kitty meets YOSHIKI. Yeah, something like that.
Well, interestingly, you've really become a global brand, and as you said, you have YOSHIKI, Hello Kitty, you have your own credit card, you have your own race car, and I can go on with the incredible job that you've done with regard to branding. Many of the entrepreneurs and companies here in this session are interested in how one goes about in building a global brand for their company. Could you offer us some insights on how you've gone about doing that?
Yes, the branding is not only important for the music industry, can be important for any corporation as well. I always look at big pictures. There's a saying, something like penny wise, pound foolish, something like that. I always think about a little ahead. So you may be losing, just money at this moment, but I don't think I can look at 5 years from now, because 5 years changing everything right this moment, like at least like a year or so, So then that's how I've been doing, branding myself, branding the image. So it's not easy to do that, but also branding is just branding too. You have to have real, actually, if it's music industry, you have to real music. If it's a computer industry or whatever, you have to have real products. Then, so that comes first. Then, yeah.
Did you have expert advice that you relied on in developing the YOSHIKI brand and the brand of X Japan?
Exporting?
Yes.
We've been trying, yeah. So it's like the amazing example is Hello Kitty. So I've been living in Los Angeles over 20 years. Then also these days I hear a lot of Japanese names, such as in animation, especially also like Japanese cuisine, and there are tons of sushi restaurants around the world. And then some characters such as Hello Kitty, something like that, just spreading throughout the world, which is amazing. So something that we can learn from that kind of strategy as well. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Something and a theme that we've been talking a lot about in this conference is going global. It's been interesting watching your career in the short time that I've watched your career, but you said you've lived in the United States now for 20 years.
Over 20 years, yeah.
Interestingly, you were a superstar, rock star, here in Japan. I've heard people describe you as anywhere from the Bono of Japan to you were the Beatles. Your group were the Beatles here in Japan. And many, and not only entertainers, but many entrepreneurs, for example, could take the easy route. And the easy route would be to remain a superstar here in your home country. But I saw an interview, actually, where you were asked, and this was ABC News in the United States, you were asked the question, why were you coming to the United States? Why did you go global? And your answer was, why not? And I'd love for you to expand upon that, because not everyone would say, why not?
Why not? Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to be tough. You have to really want this. Yes, when I went to America over 20 years ago, so I was testing, do you think I can survive here? Or do you think I'm less than people in the US, in terms of music? I couldn't think I'm just less than, them or anything. So I was like, maybe I can do it. It's like I'm kind of like brainwashing myself, I'm strong. I don't know. to be honest, I don't know I'm that strong or not, but trying to create another Yoshiki, which is strong. I mean, being in America, then coming from Japan, I mean, it's getting easier and easier these days. But 20 years ago, it was just tough. Also, on top of it, I didn't even speak any English at that time. I was almost 30s, then actually late 20s. Now you can figure out my age, but so yes, I had to start learning from English first.
Right.
Yeah.
So what were some of the bigger challenges that you had when you first went abroad?
I don't know.
Was it English?
Yeah,
Was one?
maybe the English was the hardest part.
Right.
I'm not sure actually. The composition, if you spend 10 hours a day or even 20 hours a day, or it could be 1 week straight, you may not be able to achieve anything. But learning English or learning something, you are better than 10 hours, better than 10 hours ago, you know, 10 hours. So studying is much easier than composition, come to think of it.
So let me ask you this. When you've gone abroad, and we saw in the clip prior to your music that you've had sellout crowds throughout the entire world. One of the challenges, again, of this group here, of the entrepreneurs in this audience, is how do you approach different countries? Or do you approach different countries differently? You're dealing with not only the culture of the United States when you come to my country, but different cultures all over the world. Do you have to adjust? And if you do adjust, how do you do that?
Good question. Yes and no. So some of the artists, from Japanese artists, went to America or Europe, and they tried to become American artists or European artists. I think it's great to learn their culture, but you don't have to change. I went to America. I went to the world as Japanese. But at the same time, I wanted to learn American culture. I even read Bible. I wanted to learn European culture. I wanted to learn Chinese culture. So I learned, I've been learning still. But that doesn't mean you have to change yourself. So yeah, that's...
How important in your judgment was it for you to learn English? And how important is it, do you think, for these entrepreneurs here? I mean, this session is in English. Rakuten Mikitani-san has made English the official language of his company. Like it or not, English is the closest thing to being a global language, but at the same time, you don't want to lose the beauty of your own culture. From your perspective, how important is it for this audience to focus on the English language?
It's like, when I was when I first went to America, they had a recording session. Then I was doing the piano tracking. I thought that was my best track, in my life, something like that. Was a great take. And then because my English was not good enough, so my engineer erased it. Like, oh my God, I really have to learn English. But again, learning English is not that difficult. It's developing something or creating music, or there are so many more difficult things in your life. So just English is just if you spend like 2-3 years, that's it. You get it.
I wish it was that easy. I spent 4 years here in Japan trying to learn Japanese, and it's still a challenge for me. But I'm glad you're speaking English to me. Let me ask you this. Again, a message that this conference and others have given to young entrepreneurs is, as you did in Going Global, not to be afraid to take risks. But one thing that goes along with taking risks is the risk of failure. And the message that I've given, that many people have given, that has been reemphasized at this conference is failure is okay. Now, you're a superstar, and I don't know if you've had failures, but everyone has had difficult moments in their lives professionally. Have you had to deal with failure, and how do you deal with it, and how do you move past it?
Failure. That's a very interesting word. I think this depends on how you look at it, because everybody had failure, But what's the definition of failure? So if you don't think you failed yet, you still have a chance to you actually end your life, to the last moment. So failure might not be just a failure. That might be just another chance for you to re-energize. So yes, of course, I thought that was the end of the world. Yes, several times, but I didn't look at it that way. So yeah, I'm still keep doing it. So it's like it's like Rome was not built in a day. So I've been in America for 20 years and I still keep doing it. I'm not like I may be a little overrated. I'm not that big star yet. I'm pretty unknown, when it comes to the world. So I'm still keep doing it. So.
Do you continue to push yourself in your music, to take chances with your music, to do new things that you haven't done before?
I think so. Yeah, I'm always learning new technology and everything. Interesting is like this conference. Everybody actually I watched it through streaming something a little bit. A lot of people are talking about IoT, Internet of Things. I was thinking, then some of my friends saying 30 years from now, by year 2045, IoT is going to be the standard. So maybe 30 years from now, I may have to compete against, artificial intelligence composers. Because music is all about numbers, mathematics. So hope I win.
Well, that's true. It's interesting how music is evolving. And I was talking to Mikitani-san at lunch, and he told me to ask you whether at some point you think you will be replaced by a robot.
Actually, I just saw a robot yesterday. I was actually with Mikitani-san last night drinking wine. Then some of our friends brought the robot. But is Mikitani-san here? Do you want to join us?
Come on up.
Hangover?
Much wine last night.
Hangover?
Recovered already.
Recovered over already.
How many people in the audience would like to see Yoshiki and Mikitani-san do a number for us, to sing together?
Oh, God.
Next time.
Next time.
But Mikitani-san can do this, though. Mikitani-san is very, very good.
I'm veteran. I'm very good at this.
Because a few days ago, we were taking photo, and the Mikitani-san was doing like this. The Mikitani-san said, "Should we jump?" I said, "No." Remember?
Yes. But Yoshiki's really amazing. He's really, truly global, right?
He's not only global, but when I traveled throughout Japan during my 4 years here, I used to talk about the fact that Japan needs to celebrate its entrepreneurs just like it celebrates its entertainers, its sports stars. And interestingly, I used to say that one or two of the entrepreneurs of Japan are being celebrated, Mikitani-san. And so now I'm sitting here with two superstars, Yoshiki and Mikitani-san. But I think the message for everyone out here is you could be standing in the place of these two gentlemen if you just keep plowing ahead with your dreams, as both of these gentlemen did. Take risks, learn from failure, reach globally. I think that's all the messages that the two of them have lived their lives by. And I can't tell you how much I admire both of you.
Mikitani-san is amazing. He works so hard. He drinks so hard, too. I was with Mikitani-san past few weeks together, how do you survive? Because we drink into, really late, then 9 a.m., Mikitani-san in the meeting. How? We
should not share our secrets.
I know. So, but a lot of rock stars, touring throughout the world, they're really tough. When I was traveling South America, it's every day, just from city to city, but it's not touring like Japan. You have to travel 6, 7 hours then go to the show. Then without going back to hotel, go to the next place. It's like you have to be really tough. Come to think of it, we met in the first time. John,
Wait a second. Let's stop right there.
John? We met at the backstage of Taylor Swift.
We did meet backstage with Taylor Swift. And,
You just came to Japan, right?
Yes.
I didn't know Ambassador Roos. We were the only two people invited to backstage. They were sitting next to each other. Then, of course, Ambassador Roos didn't know. I said, "Who are you?" The Ambassador Roos said,
first of all, for the record, I didn't say, "Who are you?" I got introduced to you as a superstar musician here in Japan who had gone global. Interestingly, as you remember, Taylor Swift at that point in time
That's right.
was just really
Yeah.
becoming a global name. And to her credit, she took risks with her career as well. And
That's right.
obviously it's paid off.
So, tech star.
Startups.
Well, in any event, thank you both for, it's been an honor for me to be part of the New Economy Summit. It's been an honor to be up on stage with you, Yoshiki and Mikitani-san. Thank you for putting this together.
Honor's mine. Again, thank you so much for inviting John Roos.
Thank you for coming and joining us. It makes
We had an amazing
the event
time.
so special.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.